Be'ezrat HaShem, b'siyata d'shmaya, we're going to continue Limud Musar from Sefer Yirat HaShem, from Rav Moshe Ambar Alav Shalom. We're standing before Shabbat Kodesh, the 26th of Kislev, second day of Chanukah. Chanukah Sameach to everybody. Friday, the Erev Shabbat Kodesh, sixth day of the week of Parashat Miketz. So the rabbi says, let's take some Musar from the Haftarah of the Parasha. It says in the Haftarah like this, the Parashat Miketz. So the Haftarah says, Roni v'simchi bat Zion. Sing and rejoice, daughter of Zion. So the rabbi asked the question, V'lo ne'emar ben Zion. Why doesn't it say the son of Zion? Bat Zion means the Jewish nation, but maybe it should say Ben, the father, the son of Zion. Why Dafka, the word daughter of Zion is used here, and not the son of Zion? It's telling you the following: Remes al chinuch habat yoter mima'ala al chinuch haben kenizkar lemala. There is a very important and strong element, an impression on us, the Jews, to be mechanech our daughters, and there has to be more exhaustion made to be mechanech our daughters than boys. Can you imagine? The boys, we are obviously, there's so much involved, right? Quran tefillin, tzitzit, kippah, so much things. But a daughter, you might think what? You might think the daughter is a less of an importance, and that's what, generally speaking, most people think, right? What is a daughter? Big deal. A daughter, she just has to be tznius, and that's it. The rabbi says here, no. The bat Zion to indicate that there is more exhaustion. A man should exhaust more time to educate his daughters, specifically. Lachen kodemet hashana hat kodem haben lebar mitzvah. How much more the daughters are important, that she is accepting the yoke of the commandments before the men. Daughters become bat mitzvah 12, men bar mitzvah 13. So what do you see? That there is more ubat betchila siman yafa lebanim. First rule is the statement in the Gemara, the famous statement in the Gemara Baba Batra, page 141. No, sorry, page 71. That so Baba Batra in the right, the first side of 71. That if a daughter is born to a man, a family, the first daughter is a very great sign for the children. Shehi ta'azor lebanim habayim acharei al pi Torah, because the element of her, she's a daughter, right? She's the oldest daughter. She's the Bechorah. It will actually, in fact, impact the boys that come after her, and she will help them to grow in the Torah much better. ולכן, מבשר אותה הנביא שהגאולה תהיה בזכות הבת. And therefore, why does it say here, Roni v'simchi bat Zion? Why is it saying to us that the Haftarah is talking about Geulah, it's talking about the redemption, the final redemption, and it's addressing the daughters? Because the matter of fact is, because of the daughters of Zion, the Jewish nation, that's how Mashiach will come, because again, she will be the first one, and she will emphasize and she will influence her brothers coming after her to observe Torah. And again, today, the household is built by a woman, and she influences her husband and leads the whole family, as it says over there, Shma b'ni musar avicha. Listen to the rebuke of your son, of your father. V'al titosh Torah timecha. You see that there is a Torah of a woman. What's the Torah of a woman? The child observes what he sees at home. It says about Kimchi in the Gemara was mentioned because she had an honor, a merit of having 7 boys of Kohanim, and all of her 7 boys were Kohanim Gdolim. Each one was a Kohen Gadol, which is it's improbability. If you do if you do what's his name, accounting, if you're an accountant, it's the probability of that is 1 in a zillion. A woman should have 2 children, Kohanim Gedolim. Here she was zocha to have 7 children, 7 boys in a row. In each one was a Kohen Gadol. That's the high merit of a Kohen. And why? They attribute that fact. They attributed that fact to the fact that she was very tznius. She was very tzanua at home. Kimchit was very tzanua, and even the walls of her house, they did not see her hair. She was very, very tzanua at all times. As we see also in the redemption of Mitzrayim, the merit was of the woman that was causing the galut to come. As we know that according to Chachmei Italia, as brought down in the Sefer on the Chumash of the Italia, the Chachmei Italia brought the example that the only merit, that the cause of the final redemption from Egypt was that we needed that number of 600,000. That was the magic number that was needed to be standing by Matan Torah, by Har Sinai, the Mount of Sinai, to accept the Torah, was needing the 600,000. And what was the probability of getting 600,000 Jews standing in Matan Torah, especially when we know that 80% of the Jews died, unfortunately, before coming out of Egypt. So how do we get to the 600,000 men standing by Har Sinai? The fact of the matter was that it was the woman that went out of their way and went to encourage their husband to get pregnant, to get more children. Unfortunately, as we know in Egypt, the Jews were going through suffering and through back-breaking and to spirit-breaking labor. As we know that the men were forced to do women's jobs, and the women were forced to do men's job. And the woman, nevertheless, did not give up on having children. The men did give up on having children, as we see from Moshe Rabbeinu's father, Amram. He separated from Yocheved, right? He separated from Yocheved not to have children, because what's the point of having children if Paro is going to throw them to the river? But so Miriam convinced them. Here's another daughter of Am Israel. The Bat came and she convinced her father to bring more children, right? And therefore, that's how the redemption came, because the Gemara says over there, the women were pushing their husbands to literally pushing themselves, the husbands on them, in order to get the woman pregnant. And this way, they were able to bring more children in order to get to that magic number of 600,000 that was needed by Matan Torah. So therefore, the Torah tells us, "B'schut nashim tzedkaniyot nigalnu," we were saved. So what is expected of women in the next generation, the Mashiach, the generation of Mashiach? Not less, for sure, not less. And that is to be influencing the boys to come in accepting the yoke of Torah and to highly stressing the issue. That's why it's incumbent on a woman to be constantly tzniut at all times. And therefore, this is why the Haftarah says, and why the Torah specifically starts in the Haftarah discussing the final redemption, the final Geulah. It says Bat Zion to indicate and to point out that Hashem is saying to the daughters of Am Israel, because of you is the final galut, because of your tzniut, and because of your impressing on boys and men how to observe Torah properly, and because of you going out of your way to make sure your men, your husbands don't look into other places, and because of your diligent work fulfilling the mitzvah of the halakha of Rambam. The halakha of Rambam is, and every husband, every man should impress this in his house. Every man should impress in his house on his daughters. What is the halakha? The halakha of Shalom Bayit, number one halakha. Anybody calls me up, a woman calls me up and complains to me that she wants to divorce her husband, he's not treating her properly, he's not giving her tzumet lev, he's not giving him, he's not praising her enough. I say, do you know what a man is? A man is all about ga'ava. A man is all about pride. A leadership role of a man is so indelible. And unfortunately, that's the way of the man is. So what is the man? The man is what he is, what he grew up. The role of a woman, Na'aser lo ezer v'kenegdo, Hashem created a woman to help out the man. What is the help of the man? What does he need? He needs his elevation of ga'ava a little bit in order to push him back into the fold. And that's where the woman comes in. The first halakha of Shalom Bayit, I tell every woman, before you start talking about divorce, before you fight, before you go into continue your discussion with me or talking to me, how do we fix the problem? Did you follow the first halakha of Shalom Bayit? And what is that? Today I know it's inappropriate. People are not taught the right Torah, unfortunately. The first, unfortunately, today, they are not impressing this on a woman. And the impression on every woman should be, halakha, did you treat your husband like a king? That's the first halakha of a woman of Shalom Bayit. And that is an element which is, again, because of the man's too much pride and too much ga'ava, he needs that element, says Rambam, in order to continue in his endeavors and in order to grow in Yirat HaShem. And that's Roni v'simchi bat Zion. Hashem says, rejoice the daughter of Zion, for you have fulfilled the first halakha. The halakha is to get your husband back and forth, give him that kavod. If a woman knows what it is, a child's learning pasuk of Torah, and daughters, and the firstborn daughter, will show the importance to the boy about it, how much greatness we will achieve. And that's what the rabbi says here, Roni v'simchi, rejoice the daughter of Zion, bat Zion, not the band Zion, the daughter of Zion, meaning you, the daughters of Zion, have the power. You, the daughters of Zion, have this special keen touching. You could hit the man in that nekuda and elevate him in that nekuda. Stop being in the competition. Stop competing with men. Adarabah, encourage your man. Make him feel like a king. And push him and guide him to learning Torah and observing, to emulate Hashem. Shabbat Shalom. Chanukah Sameach.